Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's video we're looking at two different pedals today. So we have two pedals, if I can open it up, from a company called Belcat, which I've never tried before, so this is going to be interesting. So the first one we have here is a nice distortion one, which looks really cool. And the other one, to shake it up a little bit, see if I can get this one out, is a phaser. And phasers on themselves are a little bit, put that in the bin. What I thought would be cool is, in a few of my songs that I've got with Shadows of Bay, I use the phaser a lot, matched up with the distortion. So I thought for this video, let's try them both out. So we'll get a good distortion tone happening, and then see what it sounds like with a phaser running before it. And we'll chuck it through the orange dark terror here, because this is a pretty decent sounding amp anyway. And let's see how it all turns out and how it sounds. So, two Belcat pedals here, one distortion and one phaser. So let's plug this in and let's start having some fun. Now I have everything set up ready to go. I'll grab my MIG guitar here. And this is what we've got dialed in just with the dark terror here. Bit boring, bit bland. But that's what these pedals are for, to spruce things up. So let's start off with some distortion and let's see what we can get out of it. So this is with all the distortion down and the tone all the way down. Alright, let's get a bit of tone. So we're getting character straight away, which is good. Probably a bit more volume too. Tone, a bit more volume. That's sounding pretty decent just as it is. Yeah, pretty surprised by that. Yeah, that's purely the characteristics. So just a quick A-B comparison. Missed a note, but that's okay. So let's give it some distortion now, because it's down at 0, and just see how it reacts. Go down about halfway. Give myself just a little bit more volume. Yeah, so chuck it back down a bit. Chuck it all the way down again. I think it actually works best all the way down, which is weird because normally a pedal would, if you had a distortion all the way down like this, or the drive, it would act as like just a straight clean boost. But this is actually giving a bucket load of dirt coming through without actually needing that dial, so purely just turning it on. So I don't mind actually. Yeah, I actually like it the pedal does that, where as soon as you engage it, you get its characteristics immediately. So that's pretty cool. So there's not much else I can really attack there, because I'm just gonna pretty much just have fun jamming along with it, because it's pretty cool. So let's move on to the phaser now. So we've got the rate and the depth. So let's see what we get just by turning it on. Alright, I just realised a mistake I made. I normally have this running after the distortion, so I've got a distorted sound phased. This way is the wrong way around, because I'm putting a phaser through a distortion, so I want the opposite. So bear with me, I'm going to go quick fast forward mode while I quickly swap these two around. Now swap them around, we do a quick test. Alright, so now we're back on track. Now let's see what we've got with the phaser. That's a very interesting form of chain that we're getting there, or effect from this chain. Doesn't quite go as deep as what I would like it to. Doesn't get too far off it though, so yeah, still pretty cool. because I've got it all turned on, this is what it sounds like with the distortion off, so just the phaser and the Dark Terror. That's a bit crap. Where with the distortion on, sounds 20 times better with the distortion on running through it. Without it, it sounds pretty lost, I think. All right, so that's pretty much the extent that I want to delve into it for this video, because otherwise I'm just going to get lost fiddling and tweaking. And we've got to keep this show moving. So I'm going to do a quick jam where I'll do the intro with the phaser on, and then pretty much click it off and drop straight into distortion. So we'll do it with drums and bass and see how it sounds in a full mix put together. And then we'll have a chat about it afterwards. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the jam. Time for some final thoughts on the Belcat pedals, one being the distortion one being the phaser. So firstly, the design of them, because they're a little bit different by the looks of how they're actually put together. But one thing I will say is the little grip things they got on here work really well. I was very surprised by them. It's something that I didn't think about until I had it all plugged in, and I was like, oh, it's actually not moving. And when I pushed it down when I was changing during the jam, it didn't budge, and that's, well, the last thing you want on any equipment, whether it be for guitar or especially drums, is you don't want pedals sliding away from you while you're trying to do your gig. So I thought that was worth mentioning, because yeah, it's definitely a standout. The designs of it are pretty cool, how they actually look. But let's actually talk about the functionality of them. Now, phasers. First thing which I thought about when I was actually doing the jam part of it, just after we did the breakdown section, was I've actually used very little phasers as individual pedals. I've used them digitally a lot, so in the actual Cubase there, and I've used them in effects units. So like my big rack units that I've got that I use for the floor, not rack units, sorry, floor units. That have digital phasers in there. But I've actually, yeah, this is the first time I've actually dealt with an individual pedal, which is, yeah, different. They're all pretty much, I don't think they actually are the same. This I felt to be one of the weakest ones compared to doing it digitally, but I think that's not anything against this pedal. I just think the digital one that I use, for example, on Cubase, is so powerful and strong, and it alters the whole channel and the whole wave files that are there so much more extreme compared to the analog that we have here. So nothing against it, it was just something that I really noticed while playing with it and mucking around a bit. But I think the rate and the depth that we got there wasn't too bad. It felt pretty good. Now the recording had a little bit of a bump in it because I did it as one take, just using it then turning it off, so then just the distortion engaged. It definitely felt a little bit weak on its own though, but that could purely be that I don't know much about phasers when it comes to matching them up with clean tones, because I've only ever used them matched up with distortion. So once again, nothing against this pedal, but it definitely felt more at home with me when I had some distortion running before it rather than just having it isolated on its own. The distortion pedal. I think I said this during the breakdown, but I do enjoy this with pedals, especially with distortion pedals more so than overdrives. Is with the distortion, I like when you can turn it on and you feel and you hear the characteristics straight away before anything. Where overdrives, you can use them as clean boost. Where distortion pedals, I like that you get that characteristic and kind of that bite straight away. And especially for this pedal, it really worked because having the distortion all the way down, I felt was the best. Because as soon as we turn it up, it's all really good depending on how you're going to utilize it and how you're going to apply it to whatever tune you're doing. But I definitely felt it would be a little bit more sludgy, which is really cool for like doom metal or stoner rock. So yeah, there's definitely a place in it for that if you wanted to crank the distortion knob there. But for what we were doing, I felt like it really fitted in the best having it all the way down. The tone knob was actually pretty effective as well. That had a pretty strong response. We didn't have to go extreme with it before we started hearing something, so that was sensitive in a good way because you want to get the most out of it. And sometimes if they're not sensitive enough, sometimes I question why I've got them there. But this one definitely worked out really well. And also too, for any cab nerds out there, just for a little bit of transparency, which I like, I had the Orange Dark Terror running through my load box here, and I had Chris Cole's IR simulator that he put together and gave away for free, which I've used a bit because it's solid and it works really well, especially with low tuning. My tuning guitar was in drop G, so I felt that was a good approach to start it that way, which I felt turned out to be pretty decent. But what are your thoughts? How do you feel about matching up these? And if you've had more experience in phasers than what I have, which I'd actually put money on it that you would have, because as I said, I've only really dealt with them digitally and running after a distortion. But how do you feel about how this reacted and how this works as a phaser? And yeah, what are your opinions of putting this all together and everything else? Definitely keen to hear it, or however else you think that these could be good for me to apply for a video. Definitely keen for that as well. This is a lot of fun putting this video together and having a quick jam. So thank you very much for joining me in this one. And with the magic of the internet, thank you for joining me for any other previous videos I've done in the past or in the future that I've yet to do yet, but you might be able to see them straight away because that's how the internet works. Lots of fun putting this together. Thank you very much for joining me, and I really look forward to chatting with you again next time. And until next time, please stay safe.